All right, so hi everyone, my name is Léa Turquier. I'm very happy to be here with Benoît Hubert to take you on an Ipsos special fishing tour. So we'll be taking you through new ways to fish for insights in data lakes using the latest advancements of AI and data science. Benoît and myself are working in a new service line at Ipsos called SIA, which aim is to apply AI to market research, and more specifically when it comes to language or image-based data. So we'll share with you a few fishing techniques and then share a case study showcasing how all these techniques can be used to understand how people around the world think about luxury.
We all know that AI is much broader than market research, even if market research is known to be a very clever industry. For instance, there are low chances that market research will need one day surgical robots. But many of the latest AI technologies have concrete usages for market research, especially in the fields of Bayesian networks, machine learning, deep learning, pattern recognition, automatic translation, and many other natural language processing. They are now part of our daily tools at a company like ours, Ipsos. Latest advancements of AI allow us to process and analyze data that used to be only studied in small volumes. We now deal with unstructured data, that is everything that comes in the form of language, pictures, or videos from whatever source. We apply all these new algorithms to survey data, but also to many other data streams, such as social data, and they feed our big data and data lake systems. This leads to a game-changing way to understand consumers and citizens in their own words, images, voices, or video. Basically, there are two ways to look at the dataset, both using AI in a different way. Either with a top-down mindset, where machines spot and size specific dimensions or concepts in the data, like consumption occasions, or with a bottom-up approach, a more ambitious method able to discover new phenomena, hidden insights, thanks to machine and data centers' power. So top-down approaches are good at finding the fishes you need in the data. Bottom-up are good at finding the unknown unknowns, the surprises hidden in the data layers.
So basically, top-down is like fishing your data lake. You know which types of fish you want to catch, so you pick and choose the right rod and the right bait to answer your research question and help brands get the insights that they expect. A bottom-up approach is a bit of a different side of mindset altogether, a bit more like deep sea diving. You go deep down and you observe what is lying at the bottom, you grasp and observe everything that shows up, you explore the data with an open mind and let yourself be surprised with things that you did not expect to find in the data. We believe quite strongly that both top-down and bottom-up approaches are relevant to brands to give them the answers they are looking for and the ones they didn't know they needed. Now, believing the two approaches can be fully automated is kind of a fantasy to us. Both ways to look at data or at some point or another imply an iteration or some kind of dance between machines and humans. Machines and algorithms are great at managing huge volumes of data. They have knowledge bias. They provide super strong analytics. And humans are always needed to match the machine-based facts with a business objective, to interpret, to provide cultural context and category expertise. Without this dance, AI is basically useless for market research. Now, the difference between top-down and bottom-up is actually who opens this dance. In top-down approaches, humans go first. They define what machines should spot and train them to do so. The advantage is that you're sure to find what you're looking for, whereas in bottom-up approaches, the machine goes first and structures what is hidden in the data with no primary human interventions. Then outputs are read, interpreted by a researcher, which leaves room for unexpected insights.
Let us show you now what we do with the text, and especially with this NLP example applied to scientific articles. Our machines and algorithms like LDA, are able to ingest and crunch huge quantities of text data. It's much more than counting words. It's using distributional semantics to estimate the frequency of association between words and build distances between them. We identify associations between words in similar contexts to cluster units that we call topics. The goal is that they make sense to the machine and to the researcher. Topics can be sized statistically, explored qualitatively, and compare with other external variables in the survey or other data sources. And it's the same for pictures. Latest advancements in deep learning apply to vision computing, that is automatic depiction of picture content, have made really impressive leaps over the last few years. Algorithms can now adequately spot objects, environments, people logos, and even notions or concepts such as confidence that pervade the picture of the two young men on the right. This also means that we can now conduct survey and social intelligence analytics that are entirely based on pictures and understand context, emotional meanings of consumer real-life experiences of brands and products.
All right, so that's it for the fishing theory. Let's go fishing for real, and let me show you what we discovered when we applied AI-based bottom-up algorithm to a large-scale syndicated survey on the luxury sector that we call the World Luxury Tracking. So this is a tracker aiming at exploring every year the relationship between affluent consumers and luxury around the world. This survey has been around at Ipsos for the last 10 years. It covers 15 markets and all luxury categories, servicing multiple luxury clients. So last year, we decided to completely redesign it to make the most of the new capabilities provided by data science. So we wanted this project to be more consumer-centric and let people express what they thought of luxury in their own words or pictures, so that free natural expression would be at the core of our questionnaire. This was done by putting open-ended questions and picture upload at the center of the respondents' experience on 8 different markets and over 7,000 interviews. So instead of pushing or forcing items onto respondents to grasp the definition of luxury, we just asked them to tell us everything that comes to mind when you hear the word luxury. This resulted in a collection of 40,000 verbatims, which an LDA algorithm called topic modeling clustered into organic topics, which means themes that naturally emerged in the data, providing us with their own definition of luxury in their own words. Topics were then compared across countries, categories, brands, etc. And we did the same with pictures. We asked them to share a picture illustrating what comes to mind when they think about luxury. We got more than 11,000 pictures with which a vision computing algorithm automatically tagged to list and size what the pictures represented. So either for the verbatims or the picture, we did not have to code anything. The machine was able to cluster the different units of meanings from the language or the visuals. We then, for pictures, had a semiotician look at the most relevant pictures to explore what are the metaphors, what are the symbols associated to the idea of luxury around the world. So what did we find? We were able to provide our clients with consumer-generated definitions of luxury and craft insights which are, in fact, beyond qual and quant. So yes, we provided the definition of luxury, we sized and we ranked them, and we were able to dive into all the verbatims that were the most relevant to each of the definitions for each of the dimensions and in their own words in local language. And sure, we did find things you would expect people to say about luxury, like the idea of distinction and standing out when you're a luxury buyer. But we also found unknown unknowns, things that we did not really expect people to spontaneously associate with luxury. A good example for this is the heaviest topic revealed by algorithms, which we call brand first, which mostly consist of people listing brand names. So what 14% of people say when we ask them to define luxury is things like Chanel, Dior, Prada, Rolex, etc., which means that brands have an enormous power in this category. Their names, in a way, epitomize the entire industry. To brands, that meant a lot about how strongly they are shaping consumers' perception of what luxury is. Among the other topics generated by the machines were topics around the idea of escaping from a stressful, heavy, or boring life. So yes, you would expect traveling, for instance, to come up as a typical association to luxury. What was a bit more surprising is to see intense, high adrenaline experiences, such as being on a roller coaster, to be mentioned. Well, very few of us would naturally associate a visit to Disneyland to a luxury experience, but we did have pictures of theme parks or the excitement around doing things just for fun. On the opposite side, the same proportion of verbatims mentioned inner peace, then, and harmony, retreating into yourself as another way to escape. So you see quite polarized definition and with similar volume of mention. We did the same with the pictures that the respondents shared with us. For this analysis, we used a deep learning vision computing algorithm, which tagged and described the content of the picture to spot different types of representations about luxury in a kind of quantified semiotics type of analysis. So we spotted the presence of nature, for instance, the idea of sharing moments together, and which gave us highly valuable insights on the more emotional or aspirational dimensions of luxury that didn't come through in the verbatims. Whereas for whether for verbatims or pictures, all the topics can be compared across targets, categories, markets to reveal cultural specificities. For instance, when we compared our 8 markets against all the topics, we had kind of a bit of a surprise from Germany. The machine statistically associated verbatims from the US and the UK, which sounded quite normal, then European markets such as Italy, Spain, and France. But what struck us was the bottom right quadrant, where Germany showed close to the UAE or Saudi Arabia. And our local experts did confirm that Germans had a distinct relationship to luxury, partly linked to the fall of the Berlin Wall, and in fact, Germany has embraced luxury goods and experiences more recently than the rest of Europe. Now, some of the definition of luxury were closer to what Middle Eastern respondents were expressing, especially in terms of escaping routine through luxury experiences. Now, we also looked at if we spotted any cultural difference across markets in terms of picture that they shared. Strikingly, given the different cultural context of the survey, most pictures shared across the world are consistent in what they express, which probably means there is some kind of universal set of representations of luxury, partly resulting from a globalization of brand communication and products. We asked our semioticians to look at the pictures attached to each of the dimensions spotted by the machine, and were able to deliver a few mood boards from around the world. So this one expressing how people express traveling across the world, whether in cities, desert, and snow. Traveling being here, you see both geographical but a bit spiritual as well. Here is another one about nature that was overwhelmingly present in the pictures shared, but always with a sensory feel to it. The notion of reconnecting to yourself while being in a natural environment. And finally, we realized that 36% of all our pictures held a water element. We had sea and lakes and boats and rivers and swimming pools, all pointing to a direct link between aquatic representation and luxury sensations. Now, this directly helped our clients inform brand content, communication, even designing customer experience to take these dimensions into account. Now, amidst all this water, we were able to catch the fishes we were looking for and did find a few unexpected species in our nets as well. So we hope you like this fishing tour and are now willing to open your minds to bottom-up methods. Thanks a lot for your attention. We'll be very happy to take a few questions from you.
Thank you so much, Leah and Benoit. And we have one question already. So if you've got any questions, now's the time to type them in. And the first question is, did you find any weaknesses in your topic modeling approach?
Weaknesses. Challenges, yes. Weaknesses, not really. It was all beneficial in the end in the outputs. One of the challenge being language, for instance, which is a bit challenging when we have to deal with 40,000 verbatims in 6 different languages. So we developed some techniques to manage this difficulty. But apart from that, when we compare the tracker we had before, which forced items and definition that were predefined of what luxury is and what topic modeling rendered as an output of this research, we cannot think of any weakness. It was just all gain, a bit of pain, but all gain in the end.
And a similar sort of question here, what quality control is needed to know that the artificial intelligence results accurately reflect the data?
So for the quality, we use statistical methods with different KPIs based on inertia, very traditional statistical KPIs, but this is certainly not the most important things. The quality is like we manage the quality with the interaction with the human brain and the researchers. Because for the topics modeling, we have these quality phases of the qualification of every topics to be sure that they mean something. So this is like a dialogue between the machine and the human researcher, I would say, for the quality.
Is it possible as well the word accurate is perhaps not what we're trying to achieve? What there might not be a correct interpretation, there might not be a best interpretation, but there should be a useful interpretation, and it's a useful interpretation that you need to find.
Yes, you can say it like that. And also, if you are thinking about accuracy, we also manage the accuracy in the sense of be able to find the topics we have identified on one database, be able to project it on another database with top-down approaches, for example.
Okay, we have a rush of questions, so I'm going to try to take them all, so I will ask them quickly and hopefully the answers can be relatively straightforward. How did you put names to each picture you received for denoting luxury? Was it done manually or by a machine?
No, it was all done by machines. So what the machines do is that they tag the content of the picture. So each picture generates a set of 10, 20, 30 different tags that describe what's inside the picture. And that gives us a set of machine-generated tags that are then regrouped by researchers. So if you see a roller coaster, a Ferrari, and a high-speeding boat, you can regroup all these tags and name this category intense sensations, for instance. But the depiction, the actual description of what's inside the picture was all done by machines.
Super. Did you model the classification of the text and the image classification together?
No, it was done separately.
Super. With this, were you able to cut the number of questions in the research instrument, in the survey?
Significantly, yes. So the questionnaire was cut by, I think it was half.
And we have a question here. How many person hours approximately did the study take? Perhaps generalize it. Did it require more analysis time or less this time than the traditional study?
I would say more, because we are this is innovation, this is new methods, etc. So at this stage we still have more work to achieve the goals, but we think it's worth to to improve our methods.
So the second wave of this new methodology is underway. A few work is going on at this moment. We expect this second wave to be much shorter in terms of analysis versus the first one, and definitely the goal is to have analysis time reduced versus what we were doing before.
Super. We have run out of time. Thank you so much, Leah and Benoit. Fantastic case study, and I'm sure that people are going to be reappraising where they think the benchmark is.
Thank you very much, Ray.